Excited to get going. We've done about a week of kind of full team practice. It's been really good. I think guys are very, very motivated. The guys that were here last year to see if, we can continue to progress and move this program forward. I think the newcomers are excited to make an impact, whether it's the transfers, whether it's True, JT, Daraje even, Shane. They've all brought a lot of value. So excited. It's fun. I mean, we still got some time, probably about 4 or 5 weeks to really get rolling. So it's a big month for us. Excited to release that schedule finally. It's just taken longer and longer, and it's become more complicated every single year because of transfer portal. People are waiting. But we feel like we've put together a challenging schedule to go along with the Mountain West. We were excited to see that 17 of the 18 games are on national television. That's 35 of the last 36. I think it shows that our brand is strong, obviously locally, but as well as nationally. So couple weeks to go, and guys have been really good, and we're excited about it.
Can you give us an update on Nelly?
Nothing new. I wish I had a direct line to Nigeria. I do not. We're still very, very confident it'll get done. Just don't know when. But we're kind of waiting. It's not like we have a contact or anything that we can call. But we feel confident that sooner rather than later it'll happen.
It's just a visa issue. Is there something that's holding it up?
We don't know. You know what I mean? So we just don't know. There's no contact person that explains it. Then we go. But it's just not one of those situations. I don't think Nigeria cares much about Lobo basketball.
So you guys have some work to do there.
Yeah.
But he is taking classes online. He's working out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he claims he's working out. We talk to him every day. The professors here have been great, and they've been patient. They understand kind of it's out of everybody's control. We're lucky, though, that we've had support that has been really, really good. So we keep trying to tell him, be patient, be patient, be patient. Nelly, to his credit, has, we're talking to him every day on Zooms, and he's, the biggest thing is just take care of your academics. We'll get you in shape whenever that is, but he's been great so far.
And in the meantime, while he's gone, what's sort of the role with JT, Sebastian?
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for those guys to get more reps in practice. JT's been very, very impressive. Sebastian, although will be out today with a concussion, has really progressed. Did some good things as well. And even Daraje has shown some, impressive flashes at times. So although Nelly is very, very important, and we are excited to get him here, it's been a good opportunity for those other guys. And it's forced me to just adapt a little bit, differently in practice and change up some things, which is good. You need to do that sometimes.
Second week of official practice, do you feel like there's a switch of energy in the gym? I know you go from summer ball, but once that official date hits.
The difference is, and it's good and bad, because over the summer, and we don't do a lot of team stuff in the summer, but then in the fall, we were going 4 times a week, 1 hour on the court. But they're getting 3 days off, so you're not really going 3 or 4 days in a row. So it's good now that we can go longer to put fatigue into play because you're rarely, during those 31-plus games, fresh. You're going to have a bruised ankle. The key is where you really find out, because I have so many people coming up to me asking me, what do you think of the team? And I politely always say, I'm not really sure. Am I excited? Of course I am. But you just don't know. There's so many things that come into play. So with a lot of new guys, it's how do you sustain that energy mentally and physically? And I think the key for us is being able to go more often to wear them down, not intentionally, to see how they respond.
I know it is so early, but again, just on paper, this team just looks, it's a good squad coming in. Are you seeing something potential there? Is there just a different athleticism? I don't know, just early on.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to set out to do certainly is get bigger on the perimeter. Now, you've got two of the best guards around who've got experience and talent. They have to play together. I would be silly not to do that. But I feel like we've gotten bigger, whether it's Jamal Baker, True Washington, Braden, obviously redshirted. Quentin's got good size on the perimeter. We'll play differently from an offensive standpoint. With Mustafa is more of a stretch four. Even Isaac Mushila is more of a small ball four, where Josiah was big and strong. So I think offensively, certainly a little bit different. And then obviously defensively, we've got to elevate our game there as well. But I feel like I focus a lot on trajectory. And obviously year 2 was a major improvement from year 1, and hopefully we can build on that in year 3.
You mentioned Isaac. Is he, and you call him a small ball four. I know he's undersized for a good rebounder, but can he stretch it at all? When I think small ball four, I think of stretch four maybe.
Yeah, he can shoot. Yes, he can shoot. He's good. You know, he just kind of finds a way. He's a terrific cutter. He's tough. He just, whenever you play, he just kind of scratches and claws, gets loose balls, rebounds the basketball, does a lot of little things very, very well.
I know his rebounding numbers were really high. Obviously, got almost averaged a double-double last year. Have you seen that in practice?
Yeah, he just has a knack for getting to the basketball. You know, he's kind of quick to it, and some guys are not. But he does. He just finds a way to get on loose balls, to create extra possessions. You know, so he's been a really good addition.
Without Nelly, does it give you an opportunity to look at a few different things, sets that you may not have thought of prior? Well,
yeah, I mean, what Nelly's going to bring, we want Sebastian and JT to do the same thing. So are they all the same player? No. You know, but we're business as usual, like Nelly will be here. And all the expectations that we'll have for him, we'll have for JT and Sebastian. I think the difference would be is guys are going to play more in practice with Nelly not here. When you get him here, then you're going to have to work your way out or work it all out in practice. But what we're asking all of our centers to do, we're going to ask Nelly to do too. So it's not a whole lot different.
Are those the only 3 options at the 5, or do you actually go Mustafa there?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to look at all that. You know, again, we're hopefully, cautiously optimistic Nelly will be here soon. But yeah, as it gets closer and closer, and if this thing drags on, we're going to have to, we were just talking about it, looking at contingency plans. Daraje's been a nice addition. I do think he's new to it all, but I think he can help at that. Maybe it's Mustafa at the 5. Maybe it's Isaac at the 5. You know, you have to have contingency plans for all of it, whether it's foul trouble, injuries, all those things.
Coach, the expectations seem to be higher, and you know, that's a residual effect from last year. Is the approach different now? Because before you kind of sneak in under the radar, now people are expecting you to win.
Well, the approach is not different. The understanding that maybe guys in the locker room can be affected by that is certainly something that's not lost on me. I don't coach any differently. I have coached teams that were picked in the bottom 4. I've coached teams that were picked in the top 4. My approach is always going to be the same, but I would be silly to not think that those guys are going to be exposed to a lot of different things now than maybe they were last year. You know, last year there was a certain innocence to the whole thing. You know, to go whatever it was, 2 months without a loss, to start 14-0 in year 2, right? Like that was, we liked our team, but that was a bit of a surprise. Well, now the other teams are going to have you circled. We'll probably be picked top 3-ish, I would assume. So from my standpoint, nothing changes. I got to get our guys to understand what goes with people thinking you're going to be good. And that just comes with experience. So the hope is that the older guys can have a level of composure and understanding of what's going to go with it. But that's what you want. I mean, that's why you come to a place like here is you want high expectations. You want your fans to hold us to a certain level of accountability because we know basketball is important to this community.
How have you seen sort of the growth in the younger guys, maybe like Braden or Donovan especially, who got a lot of playing time last year? Have you seen sort of an uptick in maybe the maturity level or how they're approaching coming into this season?
Yeah, I mean, Donovan obviously, one of the three was the only one who played. Quentin and Braden, red shirts, they didn't have that experience, so it's nice to throw them out there. I mean, Quentin practiced. Braden was out a lot of it because of the hand. They've both been good. I mean, I think Braden clearly can shoot the ball at a high level. Quentin's just in amazing shape. He just seems more comfortable out there, which is great. And then Donovan's a guy who played 25 minutes a game last year, so now it's for him, it's making that next step. But he's had very, very impressive moments to go along with the other two guys. I mean, we're living in this transfer portal world. I love being able to build a freshman class and grow them. So hopefully they can make an impact so they can feel the rewards of just kind of coming here and growing and evolving with the program.
I feel like it feels just kind of like a given. You got the backcourt, you got Mash, you got House, but how have they looked coming in this year? I'm sure they're just as fired up. I mean, have they taken steps this offseason too? Are you liking what you?
Well, they need to, yeah. I mean, they're not, none of us, right? You got to evolve. None of us are perfect. Although they had really, really good years, there's still a lot of room to grow for them. I told them both this. I said, my goal for you guys, I don't know if you're going to be pros. Like, playing in the NBA is really hard. That's not an easy thing to do. My hope is that you're in the conversation after the year. And in order to do that, you guys have put up numbers. You've clearly done that. You've been all conference players. Now they need to see winners. They need to see guys who can run the team and do all those little things. To go along with, we need them to score the basketball and do that. So I think they're excited about the opportunity. I think they're excited about, as again, like I said, when you're building a program, you want guys who have tasted what we tasted last year, good and bad. And they remember and they build off it and they're talking in the locker room. And certainly those two guys have seen it all so far in 2 years.
And Jamal Baker, how's he been coming along?
Good. Yeah, he's just rock solid, really good leader, very good way about him. Underrated. I didn't know he was as good of a passer as he is. Terrific passer. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. The goal with him is just to keep him fresh, keep him healthy, because I mean, you hate to bring up the past, but that's been his issue. So we'll take a different approach with him, maybe with some other guys. But he just knows how to play, and he's at a point now where he just wants to win, and it's fun to coach.
I talked to Mash recently, and though Mash is a fourth-year senior, obviously, and been here 3 years, he had mentioned he goes to Baker, goes to Jamal for advice sometimes. Like they bounce stuff off each other. And for a new guy coming in, I know he's in his 7th college year, but as a new guy coming in, is he open to that leadership role, even though there are guys like House and Mash on the team?
Yeah, House is a different type of leader. House is not as vocal as you would think, although he's very loud and flashy on the court. He's really more introverted off the court. It's a really unique dynamic where I think Jamal Mashburn probably embraces that on a daily basis a little bit more. And Jalen House is a very good leader. But I think Mash is seeking it. And I think Jamal Baker could be the same way. I think he instantly has everybody's respect. And I think he's got a great story to tell. I think it's all about perspective. Coaches, players, everybody. And I think the more you do it, you just have a better perspective. And when you talk to Jamal Baker, you could see that he's locked in on the right things.
Coach, defensively has been an issue. Do you see this team being more defensive-minded?
Well, I think it's all about trajectory. Yeah, we were not great, but it was year 2, a lot of new guys, And I think you're going to see an improvement. Obviously our offense was so good at times that I think it maybe highlighted the defense. So I don't look at it as this major issue. I think that staff-wise, we got to continue to improve. Player-wise, they got to continue to have just accountability of that and an understanding of what we're trying to do. I think the more depth you have, the more options you have to sit guys if they're not guarding. So I would be surprised if we don't see a great improvement there as well.
Coach, you mentioned how you guys are obviously bigger on the perimeter this year. That's something you guys were lacking last year. How is that going to be noticeably different in games this year, defensively and just running your offense too?
Well, they're taller, so you're going to notice it when you look at them. I think that we came off the bench with KJ, and I love KJ, and I think KJ is a good player, and I think he's going to do really well at UNC Wilmington. He was small. Even Donovan Dent is not real big. So now hopefully you're going to come off the bench with 6'6", 6'7". Length defensively really matters, really matters. We had 2 games we lost at the buzzer when guys just shot over us. It's that'll help. And as the program grows, we're going to continue to get bigger and taller and stronger through recruiting and through development. So I think perimeter-wise, you're going to see just height alone is substantially different.
But you mentioned you wanted to spread the wealth. Have you seen so far that the newcomers and some of the guys getting to play are willing to take a shot and not defer to the...
Yeah, it's been good. Ball movement has been probably the thing that has stood out the most this year versus maybe last year. Now, does it change as we get closer to the games, right? That's the key. That's what we can't let happen. But I think we've really put an emphasis on it of just moving and spacing the floor properly, and it's looked really good. So hopefully we take this next month and we get great at it.
How hard is it to build the schedule?
Challenging, yeah, very challenging. There's a lot of factors. I didn't deal with as much at Minnesota because I think your conference at Minnesota, we played 20 league games. You're going to have about 18 of them are NCAA tournament type building resumes. The challenge here, there's a couple things. I think our league, I don't want to say people are scared because I'm not trying to speak with some bravado, but we're not a mid-major. So we're like as close to a high major as you could possibly be with maybe people not calling us a high major. So I don't know how many people, regardless of us, are dying to play these home and homes. The goal was to start a home and home with a power whatever, right? It's all changing. We weren't able to do that. So then we had to change and we reached out to everybody. What the reason is for why they want to play, I don't know what that is. I can't say. Is it that we have some good guards back? Is it that we had some success last year? Fans, I don't really know. They don't really give me in-depth answers, nor do I care. It's either yes or no, and then we move on. But we want that. We want that for our fans. Iona was awesome. Iona was here because it was my dad. Well, I don't think he's coming from St. John's. We'll try. So now it goes into, okay, what's New Mexico State's situation, right? That took a while to kind of hash out everything, which was totally understandable. That's always going to be a really good game. And I think Coach Hooten, as he builds it, they've been traditionally a very good program, and he'll get it there. The MTEs are always a unique dynamic that we're trying to figure out, and I think we need to hopefully get a jump on that early so we can get in another really good one. And then the goal is the Irvines of the world, the Santa Barbaras of the world, although they may not be sexy to our fans, those are scary games for coaches. Those are teams that have won a lot of games. They're picked to win their league or whatever. So you're trying to figure out quad 1s and 2s if you can get them. Really hard, really challenging. My hope is that as we can continue to build sustained success, that people will see the value in playing us regardless of if they win or lose. And I think that's going to come with some stability.
Just your thoughts on the league this year. How you feel all around?
Well, I mean, the 2 years I've been here, to have 4 teams in the NCAA tournament, to have 1 team in the NIT both years. I mean, that's almost half your team is in the postseason. So it's had a really, really good run. Hopefully we can continue to build on that. The key is, I think people get consumed with scheduling, and I understand. The key is your conference. If your conference does their part, more opportunities for you to build resumes January, February, and March is great. So I think what San Diego State did was terrific, great for our league. Boise State has done an amazing job of building some consistency. And you've got us, you've got Nevada, you've got Colorado State. Anybody can beat anybody. Obviously, Coach Miles at San Jose is really good. Fresno's always going to guard you and be old. Air Force is unique. Wyoming is as well coached as it gets. So, it's always going to be challenging. Great venues, great fan bases, really good coaching. And there seems to be an increased level of commitment every single year, which is great.